Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Attendance is less than half compared to yesterday evening. Friday evening is more popular than Saturday late morning, I guess. Just revisiting the topic, personalities in Vraja Līlā. Yesterday evening we heard both in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Raga Nuga Sadhana Bhakti, visiting the Holy Dham and residing in the Holy Dham are principal activities. Rupa Goswami says even a little attachment to these principles can give even a neophyte, some of us are neophyte, an experience of Bhava Bhakti, and that's even in the neophyte Vaidhi Bhakti stage. So, and we heard if we are unable to live in Vrindavan, then one should meditate on, not necessarily meditate on living in Vrindavan, but meditate on Vrindavan. So at least my meditation is the purpose of our time together this weekend is to draw us towards that instruction of Rupa Goswami, because meditating on Vrindavan requires hearing. And hearing enables the mind, if hearing is done nicely, it enables the mind to be absorbed in the subject matter of hearing, namely Vrindavan. And as I mentioned yesterday evening, the topic, at least the general area of the topic, was Amarendra's inspiration, because he loves Vrindavan. And hopefully we'll all love Vrindavan more as we go forward, hearing about Vrindavan and the personalities in Vrindavan. Vrinda Devi is the personality I chose to speak on for this morning's time together. In the yesterday session, somebody asked a question, what's the meaning of Vraja? So I did a little research, and in Hari Namamrita Vyakarana, the meaning, the root word, the dhatu of Vraj or Vraja, is gatau, or to go or to move. So persons in Vraja, they walk or they go or they make pilgrimage from one place to another place to another place, places of Krishna's pastimes. And we're going to hear a really wonderful section of Rupa Goswami's writings where Radharani, in a state of madness, is searching for Krishna. And she goes here and goes there and goes there throughout Vraja. So in sequence, who is Vrinda Devi? This is the Vrinda Devi Tattva section. Who is she? One of the ways to establish who she is, first of all, At least I chose to start at this point. Vrinda Devi is Krishna's Līlā Shakti. Now, many of us are accustomed just to hearing Yogamaya. And, things happen because of Yogamaya, this, Yogamaya, that. But Yogamaya and Vrinda Devi work really well together. They're a good team. Purnamasi is Yogamaya, and Vrinda Devi is Krishna's Līlā Shakti. What does that mean? At the very end of this session, we'll be singing together, all goes well, the Vrinda Devi Astakam by Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur. And there's two prayers, the first two, in his Astakam, that speak about Vrinda Devi's position as Krishna's Līlā Shakti. Actually, there's only one. Number 7. O Vrinde, the knowers of Sattvata Tantra, describe you as Krishna's own pastime potency. Līlā Shakti. Right in the verse up above. But in the human world, you appear only as Tulsi Devi. We offer our obeisances unto your lotus feet. So I wanted to be sure that I understood what was the reference here to Sattvata Tantras, because from time to time Prabhupada would also refer to the Sattvata Tantras. And in his own words, in one Srimad Bhagavatam class, he explained, Sattvata Tantra means books or literature of devotional service. So now you know what that term means if you hear it again. Books or literature of devotional service. That's a very broad category. So Vrinda Devi is Krishna's Līlā Shakti. Jiva Goswami confirms the same thing in a were produced by the Lord's Līlā Shakti according to the Lord's rasas in order to increase Yashoda's prema for Krishna. That's what. So again, Līlā Shakti is Krishna's Shakti for Līlā purposes, and one of his purposes is to nourish or increase the prema of his devotees. So disturbances may come, or Mother just ours is for purification, but for hers is to increase her prema. The Līlā Shakti is composed of Shribu and Līlā. These three Shaktis of Vaikuntha are well known in the Padma Purana. Particularly, Sri Vaishnavas are very familiar with Shribu and Līlā. So Līlā Shakti has these three parts, Shribu and Līlā. These are the three Shaktis in Vaikuntha. And in Krishna's pastimes, it's Līlā Shakti. Līlā Shakti is called Vṛndā in Krishna's pastimes and lives in Vrindavan. And Līlā Shakti is described as both Tulsi and Vrinda in the Kartik Mahatmya of Padma Purana. So let's hear a little bit more about this, the relationship between Vrinda and Tulsi. But Līlā Shakti is described as both, Vrinda and Tulsi. So what's the relationship between Vrinda, Tulsi, and Srimati Radharani? Here's a nice photograph of the deity of Vrinda Devi. Many of you have likely visited Vrinda Kunda. This is the Vrinda Kunda, Vrinda Devi. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Vrinda Devi is an expansion of Srimati Radharani, and Tulsi, the sacred plant, is a partial expansion of Vrinda Devi. This is the Tattva section of, we'll get to the Līlā section very, very quickly, but it's good to have a clear idea of when we say Vrinda Devi, who's that anyways? Well, who are we speaking about? Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur similarly writes, Tulsi Devi is an expansion of the internal potency of Krishna known as Urja, or the internal potency, also known as Sarup Shakti. For newer devotees, this is like nomenclature over the top, but for those that have been around for a while, it's nice to know how the puzzle pieces fit together. When you use terms or names, what's the meaning, what's the import, what's their place in relation to everything else. So we have Radharani, and Vrinda Devi is her expansion. Tulsi Devi is a partial expansion of Vrinda Devi. Or Tulsi Devi is an expansion, so an expansion of the internal potency. That's the relationship between Radharani, Vrinda Devi, and Tulsi Devi. So it gets a little, the intricacies of relationships are part of where the sweetness is when we're hearing pastimes, where Vrinda Devi and Radharani are interacting and things. So it's nice to know how that works. Let us clarify now how Radharani became crowned Queen of Vrindavan by Purnamasi, following Vrinda's indication commanded to Vrinda by Krishna. So Krishna told Vrinda to tell Purnamasi to crown Radharani as the Queen of Vrindavan. Krishna told Vrinda to tell Purnamasi to crown Radharani as the Queen of Vrindavan. It's teamwork. They didn't have a big conference either. They just, here's how it happened. According to Rupa Goswami's Dhanakeli Kamudi, Nandimukhi is the daughter of Sandipani Muni, and Nandimukhi is the granddaughter of Purnamasi. So Nandimukhi says, Chitra, please listen. Vrinda went to Purnamasi and said, O Queen of Yoga, Radha should be crowned Queen of Vrindavan. For a disembodied voice from the sky commanded this. And then there's a footnote that says, Vrinda to the side says, that so-called voice from the sky was only a trick. It was Krishna who commanded me to tell these words to Purnamasi. So Purnamasi did what Vrinda said, which is what Krishna said to crown Radharani. Nandimukhi goes on. Then, as Krishna watched, on Purnamasi's order, these goddesses, accompanied by your friends, and also by the goddesses of the various sacred rivers that purify the worlds, placed Radha on a throne, and with nectar water from jeweled pots, performed the coronation ceremony and crowned Radha, the Queen of Vrindavan. Krishna ordered it to Vrinda to Purnamasi, Purnamasi to everybody else. So Radha becomes the Queen of Vrindavan, and Vrinda had a key role. Same understanding, essentially same understanding, is written by Raghunath Das Goswami. Some of you know this Mukta Charita by another name, called the Pearl Pastime. If you don't know the Pearl Pastime, you got to learn the Pearl Pastime. It's really a nice pastime. But that's another time. In this book, Mukta Charita, it's described how Purnamasi anointed Radha as the queen of Vrindavan. Very similar. And Krishna, while watching this coronation, says to Vishaka, if your Priya Sakhi Radha is not my mistress, then why did Bhagavati Purnamasi anoint her with tilak and musk from my chest during her coronation ceremony? Why did she place my necklace and my flower garland around her neck? So this is similar. Krishna gave an indication. Purnamasi did what was in Krishna's indication, and he's confirming. And there's yet another very nice writing. Our Goswamis reveal so many things about Vrindavan and Krishna and the other personalities. Jiva Goswami wrote a book, amongst many books, called Madhava Mahotsava. And it's interesting that the title of the book is Madhava Mahotsava, but it's actually Radha Mahotsava. But he calls it Madhava Mahotsava. I guess he likes Madhava. So there's a whole series of events that take place. That the second half of the book is Krishna to pacify the heart of Radha. There's things that happen that she becomes unhappy, so he wants her to be happy. So he makes this arrangement of she becomes the queen of Vrindavan. And while there's different series of abhisheks, and during the 6th abhishek, Vrinda and her friends made preparations to bathe Radha. Her forest, that's Vrinda's forest, because Vrinda's in charge of the forest, we'll hear shortly, rained honey and flowers as perspiration, with hair standing on end. For a long time, Vrinda had labored with care over these forests. She was making Radha the master of the forests, to make Radha's position known to the 3 worlds. Protect these forests, endowed with 6 seasons, using the 6 qualities of the ruler. For the purpose, we bathe your 6 limbs in the 6th abhishek. Vrinda's speaking these words to Srimati Radharani. Radha, bathed by water and rasa, having attained lordship over Vraja, gave bliss to the cloud called Hari, satisfied the chakora eyes of her friends, and produced rivers of tears in all the assembled people. May Radha, whose beauty increased from the abhishek and attainment of lordship, who sits in an attractive grove in the forest, who became dazzling by heaps of jewels, by the beauty of the moon of Hadi's face, and by the consequent expressions of ecstasy, bestow protection on all. Although it's Madhava Mahotsava, it's Radha Mahotsava, the big festival. And Purnamasi has a role in this event. Purnamasi spoke to the moving and non-moving creatures in a choked voice. O tree, being satisfied along with your wives, the creepers, bestow all that can be desired. O best of birds, keep singing along with the bees. O beasts, continue to be happy with confidence, for Radha, served by her commanders, the Sakhis, has become the queen. She has assumed control of Krishna and Vrinda. Now this forest is suitable for Sringara Rasa, having gained an excellent leader. So Vrinda Devi has an important role in Radharani's becoming the queen of Vrindavan. of course, the orchestrator behind everything is Krishna, and he's doing so through his Līlā Shakti, and everything's being arranged by Krishna through his Līlā Shakti. Next, Vrinda Devi is entrusted with the forest of Vrindavan by Srimati Radharani. The queen has given care to the forest of Vrindavan to Vrinda Devi. And that's found in the we're going to sing this, the Vrinda Devi Astakam. But here's one of those verses. O Vrinda, who was bestowed the care of Sri Krishna's opulent abode, Sri Vrindavan, the crest jewel of all Vaikunthas, by the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, we offer our obeisances unto your lotus feet. Radharani becomes the queen. Vrinda is the instrument of Krishna, his Līlā Shakti, for that. And then she turns around and trusts the Vrindavan forest. And all of the pastimes, we'll hear, the pastimes that occur in the Vrindavan forest, Vrinda Devi's in charge. She's like very powerful personality. So that's a little bit about Vrinda Devi Tattva. Now, we're going to hear something about her appearance or her features of her form. One of the places where that's discussed is Rupa Goswami's Radha Krishna Gunadesh Deepika. If you have one of those little things, you know what to do. Put it in off mode, please, if you haven't done it. So here's a description. Vrinda Devi has a beautiful complexion, the color of molten gold, similar to Radha's, right? She wears blue garments and is decorated with pearls and flowers. Her father is Chandrabhanu, and her mother is Pulara Devi. Her husband is Mahipala, and her sister is Manjari Devi. She always remains in Vrindavan, immersed in love for Radha and Krishna, and yearning to both arrange for their meeting and taste the nectar of assisting in their transcendental pastimes. Now, some of you may have been around for a while, and you probably just heard something that's a contradiction from what we hear elsewhere. And what's that contradiction that we hear elsewhere? The contradiction is that in Bhakti Ratnakar, the father of Chandravali is Chandrabhanu. Yes? Yes. The father of Chandravali is Chandrabhanu. And here we just heard that Vrinda Devi's father is Chandrabhanu. So they're not sisters, they're just two Chandrabhanus. Whew. I had a really nice experience in Detroit. There was a young boy, maybe somewhere between 9 and 11, and he listened, and he could hear, and he had a memory like a tape recorder. So when there are things like this, he would then raise his hand. You know, some people have good memories, and the rest of us don't have good memories. So all of this, you're not likely to remember. These, if you're anything like me, you're not going to remember. That's why I have notes. But even hearing, because this is the panorama of the personalities that take part in Krishna's pastimes with Krishna and Radha. And they're important personalities. They're important personalities in Krishna's happiness and Radharani's happiness and Radha Krishna's happiness and all the devotees' happiness. Happiness is. Here's some further description from Vrinda Devi Astakam about Vrinda Devi's appearance, her features and her characteristics. O Vrinde, whose very self is showered with the current of beauty, which defeats the golden splendor of the champak flower or lightning bolts, we offer our obeisances unto your lotus feet. That's this opening verse. Then, O Vrinde, whose lips and face are shining like red bimba fruits that smile slightly, and nose pearl that sparks brightly, and whose beauty is enriched with wonderful jeweled ornaments, we offer our obeisances unto your lotus feet. So Rupa Goswami and Vrindavan Das, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur have given us some picture of her features. It's a different ringer. Yeah, it's a different ringer. Definitely different ringer. Now, that's Vrinda Devi Tattva now and her features. Now let's hear something about her services. And then we're going to hear some of her Līlās. So, one of the main descriptions of Vrinda Devi's services is again found by Rupa Goswami in his Radha Krishna Gonadesh Deepika. He describes that she is the best of Krishna's gopi messengers. Now Radharani has her messengers, and Krishna has his messengers, and many, many, many messengers, and she's the best. She's the best. The messengers that Krishna wants, and he just informs Vrinda Devi, and Vrinda Devi takes care of it. And she delivers messages to others. And one of the ways that Vrinda Devi delivers messages to others is she has a pet parrot. You'll see shortly. In her left hand, the deity of Vrinda Devi, in her left hand has a parrot. And the parrot in Vrinda Devi's hand is a male, and his name is Daksha. And we all know what Daksha means. He's expert. And this Daksha has hundreds of thousands of other parrots. Krishna wants. Vrinda Devi knows what Krishna wants. As a messenger, Vrinda Devi just tells Daksha, and Daksha sends the message. It's like a mass spam, or, SMS messages that go all over the place. But, they didn't have that technology. They had parrots. And Daksha is the chief parrot sitting in Vrinda Devi's hand. And as the day would go on, we'll hear shortly, the plan for the day of Krishna's pastimes was arranged early by Purnamasi and Vrinda Devi. So Purnamasi, Yogamaya. Vrinda Devi, Līlā Shakti. So you put Yogamaya and Līlā Shakti together and you get Krishna's pastimes. And the plan. So Purnamasi had the vision, and Vrinda Devi executed everything. Everything. And she had many assistants. One of those chief assistants, according to our Vaishnava text, is Vira Gopi. Many, many, many sub-messengers, not only parrots, but sub-messengers. And Vira Devi is very prominent. And she had a certain nature. She was a little bit like Vrinda Devi's temperament, where she would sweet and speak nicely and flatteringly and take care of things. But she was also known to be very bold and arrogant. but she was very, very affectionate. And one of her favorite places where she resided was at the corner of Gupta Kunda. What's Gupta Kunda? Gupta Kunda is right next to Lalita Kunda. Right next to Vrinda Kunda. Now many of us, probably many of us in the room have been to, and if you haven't been, you will, go to Vrinda Kunda in Vrindavan. Vrinda Kunda is the ISKCON project where Vrinda Devi is being worshipped. You saw some photos of that Vrinda Devi deity. So near Vrinda Kunda is Gupta Kunda. And Gupta Kunda is the place where Veera Gopi resided. And when some, difficult messengers had to be delivered, she was ready. And it was also at Gupta Kunda that daily, early in the morning, Purnamasi and Vrinda Devi would meet and to make the plan. And then Purnamasi would go about her activities, and Vrinda Devi would take care of everything. And we'll hear how, the detail of, she took care of everything all day long, morning till night, nonstop. At this same Gupta Kunda, it is said, there were 3 primary meeting places during the day, the Krishna's 8-fold times of the day. The first one was at Gupta Kunda. It took place after Radharani had prepared breakfast for Krishna and Balaram at Nandagram, and then Radharani was going back to Varsana, Yavat. Varsana earlier than Yavat. So he went back, but Radharani took a little detour and went to Gupta Kunda. And Krishna, after finishing breakfast with Balaram took the cows and cowherd boys out for pasture, but Krishna took a little detour and went to Gupta Kunda, the place of Veera Gopi, and very, very near to Vrinda Kunda. And here's a nice photograph of today's temple at Vrinda Kunda. And so Gupta Kunda is a very important place in the pastimes with Vrinda and Radha and Krishna. This sylvan goddesses is a phrase that our translators have used. It just means forest goddesses. And they all were in Vrinda Devi's assistance because Vrinda Devi was in charge of the forest. And there were lots of things that were going to be taking place in the course of the day. And I'm going to read a little bit of what it's written about Vrinda Devi's many, many, many services. For each of the 8-fold daily pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Vrinda Devi makes elaborate arrangements for an appropriate forest spot and specific trees, creepers, fruits, flowers, birds, and other animals. Every single detail and each and every one of Radha and Krishna's 8-fold daily pastimes, including which peacocks will dance, which bumblebees will hum, which parrots and kokilas will sing, which breezes will blow, Vrinda Devi is commanding. She personally selects the various color combinations, fragrances, songs, and musical instruments to be offered for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. She decides who, among the unlimited number of gopis and manjaris, will assist Līlā and Vishaka to offer sandalwood pulp, serve refreshments, play musical instruments, fan the divine couple with chamras, offer pan betel nuts and spices on a jeweled tray. That's not it. She's like super soul. She's everywhere, making so many arrangements. She has so many assistants, and they love her, and she loves them, and she loves serving Radha. They all love serving Radha and Krishna together. No envy, no competition, just pure love of Radha and Krishna. And she's like the CEO. She keeps many storerooms. This is a celebrated part of what she does. Throughout the whole of Vrindavan, Vrinda Devi has many storerooms. Like, well, as you become familiar with Krishna's pastimes, we're going to narrate a couple of them where Vrinda Devi provides costumes for Krishna. Just Krishna has a desire, and there's Vrinda Devi, and she's got a costume, a Gauri costume, an Abhimanyu costume. And, her storehouses don't just have costumes. All the paraphernalia for Radha and Krishna's pastimes. Swings, musical instruments, water syringes, and color for squirting, clothes, ornaments, and a variety of food and drinks. Like a Walmart or something. She was always busy with her maidservant and forest goddesses, working to bring the pastimes of Radha Govinda to complete fulfillment. She decorates the pastime groves and creates a festive atmosphere to enhance the divine couple's pleasure, etc. She's all-pervasive. She's in charge. Radharani gave her the charge, and she does her service in many, many, many persons assisting, and details and details and details. And more details and more details. So, along with these two, the parrot that you see in the hand of the deity in her left hand, Daksha, according to Govinda Lilamrita, there's two other female parrots called Sarikas, and they have names, Sukshmadi and Shubha, and they're spies. One is assigned to watch Chandravali, and the other is assigned to watch Kirtida and Jatila. And then the two Sharikas report back to Daksha. Daksha tells Vrinda, Vrinda does the needful. It's described, for example, before the rasa dance is performed, Vrinda's on top of it. She's got who's going to perform, which musical instruments, what is the attire of all the gopis. She's the orchestrator, the stage manager. She's so intimately involved. And there's refreshments for when they're fatigued. And there's flower beds to take rest. And she's so bold that when they go to take rest, she's there making sure that they are undisturbed. And she's there to wake them up in the morning so they can go back to their places and cover for Radharani when she has to go back to Yavat. You can see her role is very important. It's one of the reasons I was inspired to speak about Vrinda Devi. One of Vrinda Devi's cousin sisters is named Barha. And I learned about Barha from Light of the Bhagavat. In case you haven't heard 10 times, I've given many seminars on this because it's a nice book. It's Srila Prabhupada's writing in 1962 for an audience that he hadn't met. He had just taken sannyas 2.5 years prior to 1962 when he wrote this book. And he was living in a little room, a little tiny room. I mean, you see the pictures, a little tiny room. And he's the world acharya from this little tiny room, making a plan to give the Bhagavat to an audience in Japan. Now, Prabhupada received a written invitation to be a guest speaker at an event called Conference for the Upliftment of the Human Spirit. Very high-sounding, nebulous title. Upliftment of the human spirit. So he considered that people in the Far East they have a tendency to appreciate lessons in life from nature. So he decided to write about nature from Canto 10, Chapter 20, which deals with the rainy season and the autumn season, just description after description of the rainy season and the autumn season. So a detail is that rainy season personified is Vrinda's cousin sister. And there's a detailed description of what she looks like. And it said specifically, she creates and walks in windy and moist air. So how do you paint that? And there's further description, and I was puzzled how to get this further description taken care of, so I contacted Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, who said, I have some artists, just how soon do you need this? It's like, wow. And a few rough drafts, and then this is the painting that his disciple artist produced, matching the description of Barha. And notice she also has in her left hand, it's a bird, but it's a kokila. It's not a parrot, because she's not a messenger deliverer. Kokila is a bird that sings. And so on. Vrinda Devi loves her service of making all the arrangements all the time for the entire Vraja Līlā of Radha and Krishna. Here's another deity of Vrinda Devi, another well-known ISKCON painting of Vrinda Devi. And now I'm going to read something that I think you'll enjoy. I know you'll enjoy. It's Rupa Goswami's writing from the Līlā Madhava of Radharani's feelings of separation from Krishna when Akrura, just after Akrura comes and takes Krishna away. Would you like to hear? I'd like to read it. I mean, I could summarize it, but it's nothing like hearing it. So the drift, the essence, is something similar to what we're more accustomed to hearing, is the moods of madness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani's separation from Krishna. From Chaitanya Charitamrita, we're accustomed to hearing that. Well, here's Rupa Goswami's description of Radharani's state of madness in separation from Krishna. And she sees something and she mistakes it for Krishna. And then she realizes it's not Krishna. And then she sees something else and she's so, anything she sees in relation to Krishna. So the scene opens. This is Līlā Madhava Act 2. The Līlā Madhava Act 2. Krishna has just left on Akrura's chariot. Vishaka speaks to Lalita. Lalita, quickly do something to stop, even for a moment, the waves of suffering that are drowning our dear friend Radha. Lalita is very intelligent. She says to Radha, "O lotus-eyed one, we think that clever, playful Krishna is simply playing a joke on us, and that these events, beginning with Akrura's arrival, are his joke. For he is not willing to leave Vrindavan at any time. O friend, if you simply search for him in the forest, you will quickly find him there." Vishaka said, "Well done, Lalita, well done. You are intelligent." Radha agrees. "My friends, this is not impossible. Let us search for him." So they begin searching for Krishna. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? She sees some deer. "Oh, does, the grass is falling half-eaten from your mouths. Is this because charming Krishna has stolen your hearts?" Is it because you have met the wandering guest of Lord Krishna's sidelong glance? Or because you have heard the sweet music of his flute? She goes a little further. O peahens, please give up all duplicity and quickly tell me, where is the peacock feather-crowned Krishna hiding in this forest? Where is Krishna, whose flute music pleases you millions of times more than the thunder of many new rain clouds? It's part of the poetry of our acharyas that, and it's in Prabhupada's writings in this Light of the Bhagavad, peacocks, when the monsoon rain comes, the clouds form, the peacocks dance. They spread their tail feathers and dance. So it's a known thing. Are you not dancing because you don't see Krishna? Vishaka finds a Gunja necklace. I can see a Gunja necklace in the grove by Radha Kund. Now, notice, they're moving quickly. They're in Vraja. And Vraja means they move. And so she goes from place to place very swiftly. She's looking for Krishna. They find a Gunja necklace. Radha picks up the necklace, smells it, because it was worn by Krishna, and she starts trembling. Reflecting the splendor of the King of Jewels, you were once on the chest of Krishna, the enemy of the demons. Oh, Gunja necklace, friend, why do you, overwhelmed, now roll about on the ground on this forest path? Next, they're at Sakhi Stali. Now, if you know the geography, Radha Kund is at the northern end of Govardhan Hill. Sakhi Stali is almost midway on the western side of Govardhan Hill. Sakhi Stali is where Chandravali resides and her friends. So they find themselves at Sakhi Stali. Radha says, my dear friend Chandravali. It's not Chandravali. She's seeing her reflection. She thinks it's Chandravali. Oh, Vishaka, I've so yearned to see Chandravali, who I so rarely see, who is very dear to Krishna, the Prince of the Gopas. Vishaka says, confined to her house by her grandmother Karala, she has been wasting away in grief. Radha says, I shall go now and pray to Govardhan Hill. She takes steps towards Govardhan Hill. Oh, Vishaka, why do you cheat me in this way? Chandravali is here. Oh, friend, she's talking to Chandravali, who's not there. Have you seen your friend, the independent-minded Prince of Vraja? Has he come here with glistening, smiling lips, a flute in his hand, a peacock feather in his hair, and timid eyes glancing at these groves and flowering vines filled with buzzing bees, blinded with joy? Then, why does Govardhan Hill cry the same question back at me? Oh, beautiful Chandravali, this suffering Radha can see how your body has become auspicious. From Krishna's many tight embraces, please embrace me with your arms, fragrant from the touch of Krishna's flower earrings. Lalita says, Radha, this is yourself reflected in this crystal stone. It's not Chandravali. Radha looks closely and says, you aren't lying. She's in a state of madness. Lalita, I am unfortunate. Now I shall give up my body. Look, look. She points. There in the far distance is Krishna, decorated with a peacock feather crown and embraced by the fair-limbed gopis. She looks again. No, I think it is not Krishna. It is only a rain cloud, lightning, and rainbow resting on Govardhan Hill. And she faints. The gopis, Lalita and Vishaka, don't be sad, don't be sad. Then she turns to Govardhan Hill. So there's pages of this. It's Radha's madness searching for Krishna. It's got a very interesting ending. That involved Vrinda Devi, by the way. That's why I'm reading this. But it connects with what we're going to be speaking this evening as well. Mukara. Oh, Govardhan Hill. Oh, King of Mountains. You are the best of the affectionate servants of Lord Krishna. I think that Lord Krishna always remains on your lap. Please be kind. Please open the entrance of one of your caves and let me glimpse and see Krishna within. Please do this and stop the unbearable, endless waves of my suffering. Why is Govardhan silent? He simply sheds streams of tears in the form of these murmuring mountain brooks. Folds her hands. Oh, Govardhan, you shine very splendidly in this land of Gokul, your many lofty peaks thrusting into the sky. Please look in all directions and tell me, where is Krishna, the jewel of the cowherd boys, now enjoying his pastimes? Walking a little further, that's Vraja. Oh, restless-eyed friend, is this not the same Kadamba tree under which Krishna placed a peacock feather crown in my hair? Now she cries. Here is the same cave entrance on Govardhan Hill where Krishna made a very artistic, colorful bed of jasmine flowers. When I see this place, it reminds me of all the pastimes we enjoyed together here. Oh, friend, fie on the useless breaths that continue to move in my throat. I saw all the forests. I looked in all of the Vrindavan's forests. I carefully searched dense Bandiravan forest. I looked in every part of Govardhan Hill. Oh, Lalita, alas, I have not found even the faintest scent of your friend Krishna anywhere. Lalita is trying to encourage her. How many times have you searched for Krishna in the forest groves and not found him? Don't be so depressed. Radha says, well said, Lalita, well said, well said. Look, there in the distance are Krishna and Akrura riding on a chariot. I will grab Krishna by the neck and drag him down. No, this is not a chariot, but a hill covered with golden flowers. This is not the gopis' lover Krishna, but a dark tamal tree. This is not the king's messenger, Akrura, but a powerful tiger. Oh, friend, why has the unfriendly creator Brahma made everything wrong? It goes on. A voice from behind the scenes, seeing Radha's intense suffering and separation from Krishna, the Manasi Ganga has completely dried up. And at this time, Manasi Ganga was like 7 miles long. And Govardhan Hill, which was so tall that the sun's horses would eat the durva grass at its summit, has shrunk to the height of 100 arms. Everyone's feeling separation from Krishna as Radha. Radha speaks to herself now. Oh, Radha, give up the wickedness of this false pride. Oh, Radha, the sound of Krishna's footsteps has come to my ears. Krishna is now entering this grove of transcendental pastimes. Krishna has come to this forest grove bordered by jasmine flowers. The smiling vines and the buzzing of these bees make you run there. Mad woman, get up. Don't hit the friend that touches your feet. Because of your foolishness, we're losing a rare and precious opportunity. Now it starts to crash. her searching starts to crash. So I'll fast forward a bit. She can't even recognize who she's with. Are you really Lalita? Lalita says, what? Radha says, she speaks the truth. I am Radha. I have come here to pick forest flowers for a garland. I will pick jasmine flowers to make earrings for Krishna. Why are the jasmine buds falling? Why are the kandamba blossoms breaking into pieces? Why are the jati buds black? What has happened to Krishna's Vrindavan forest? Both Lalita and Vishaka say, the forest must have been licked by the flames of a great fire. Radha says, oh Lalita, I don't know why a great forest fire playfully licks my heart. Let's find your friend whose glance extinguishes great fires. So it goes on and on and on and on and on. And finally, Radha sees Krishna's footprints. It's scattered sweet Krishna footprints enhancing the world's eyes and making them wretched. The Jamuna's shore now walks on the pathway of my eyes and makes my senses burn with pain. Lalita. Oh, on this riverbank let us worship the sun god and pray to him for the fulfillment of our desire. Radha's rolling on the banks of the river Jamuna. Oh, lotus-eyed one, on this Jamuna shore, where again and again you splashed us with the waves of pleasure, deep with love, why do you not embrace us who are tormented with pain? Lalita says, we're nearing the end. Oh, sister, oh, crown of the sun god's dynasty, I have come here desiring to hear from you news of Krishna, the killer of the Madhu demon. Radha says, friend, your ever-new shores are filled with forest groves that rival jewel palaces, and that were once the home of Krishna's pastimes, and she faints. Vishaka finds a garland that Krishna wore. She says, place it by Radha's nose. Radha smells the garland. She comes to external consciousness. Radha says, listen, Lalita, I saw a frightening dream. It was so vivid I thought I was awake. In this dream, a wicked messenger of King Kamsa came to Vrindavan, and with a chariot, Krishna. I pray that there will be peace and prosperity in Vraja. Now, in order to become free from the ill effects of this bad dream, I will bathe in the Jamuna and then go see Krishna. So she's thinking what happened was a dream, a bad dream. And to get rid of the effects of this bad dream, she's going to bathe in the Jamuna. Vishaka goes with her. Let us go to Kaila Tirtha, where Krishna eternally enjoys pastimes. Enter Vrinda Devi and Mukhara. So this is a drama written by Rupa Goswami. Lalita Madhava and Vidagdha Madhava are dramas. And in this drama, at this point, Mukhara, who is Radharani's grandmother, and Vrinda Devi enter. Mukhara. My child, she says to Vrinda, my child, what is Radha doing? Vrinda, O noble lady, I will see. She is bathing in the waters of Kaila Tirtha with Vishaka. Radha's looking at the waves of the river Jamuna and says, O Vishaka, well done, well done. Now I'll enter the waters of Kaila Tirtha. Look, there is your friend Krishna. He is hiding among the blue lotus flowers. He is playfully waving his arms. Vishaka, let's enter the water. Lalita is watching. Alas, alas, Now I am dead, I am dead. My dear friend Radha has drowned in the deep river waters with Vishaka. She will never again rise from those waters. These two have drowned, and now I will become the third. She starts entering the water. Mukara stops her. Fate, fate, why have you done this? She's seeing her granddaughter Radha entering, looks like she's drowned in the river Jamuna. Vrinda, alas, what will happen to her now? Noble lady, Lalita is grief-stricken. Now she also wants to drown in the water. Stop her at once. So they both, Mukara and Vrinda Devi, grab a hold of Lalita and stop her from drowning herself. Lalita. Alas, alas, here is a great obstacle. By some trick, I will escape from this place, and because of separation from my dear friends, I will jump from the top of Govardhan Hill, and on the rocks at the mountain's base, I will crush this hard as stone body that would not break from not being able to see its dear friend. Noble lady, let go of me. I must go and tell this strange news to noble Purnamasi and her friends. So Lalita exits, and it's just left on the stage is Vrinda and Mukara. And this is the last two lines. There's a voice from the sky. What great person in this world is able to describe the splendid flood of this beautiful browed gopi's glory, as splendid as new lightning? She and her friend have now entered the sun planet. So the sun god rescued Radha and Vishaka and took Radha and Vishaka to the sun planet. Coming attractions. Which comes in later parts of Rupa Goswami's drama. Vrinda says, she has the last word in this chapter. Noble lady, listen. The Siddha demigods in the clouds are glorifying Radha's attainment of perfection. So let's step back. And Radha and Krishna never leave Vrindavan. So when Krishna leaves Vrindavan, it's Krishna's expansion. When Radha leaves Vrindavan, it's Radha's expansion. But in the past time, she leaves Vrindavan because Krishna has left Vrindavan. And we'll hear some more this evening. That's Rupa Goswami. We haven't even sung Vrinda Devi Astakam yet. A little bit more about Rupa Goswami when he was given his instruction by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to do two things: write books, which he's just doing, and also to excavate the places of Krishna's pastimes, along with his finding Radha Govindaji or Govindaji deity. He also had a dream in which he had a dream where Yogamaya was, or a vision. He had a vision in which Vrinda Devi appeared to him and revealed that, Vrinda Devi appeared to him and revealed that she, in her deity form, was hidden in Brahmakund. So there's the Yogamaya deity, but the Vrinda Devi deity, those of you who have been to Vrindavan, picture in your mind the Govindaji deity that was where Govindaji was previously worshipped. And on the left-hand side, in the back, is a place where Yogamaya was worshipped by Rupa Goswami and those who were assisting him in his worship. And on the mirror on the other side was the place where Vrinda Devi was worshipped. So this is the side where Yogamaya was worshipped, and to this day Yogamaya is worshipped. The Yogamaya deity, which we saw here, is much smaller. And so when the deities had to be moved for fear of Aurangzeb, then the deities were taken from Vrindavan by Jai Singh for safety to Jaipur in Rajasthan. So this is the temple on the left side, back left side, where Yogamaya was worshipped. And here's the humble painting of Jai Singh II. He arranged for the deities, the main deities of the Goswamis, to be taken from Vrindavan and taken to Jaipur. So there was a series of moves, this and that and the other day. One of the places they went to was Kamyavan. And you see in the Vrajamandal painting, on the far west side, very near to Rajasthan, is Kamyavan. They were there for 3 days in hiding and in bullock carts. And when it came time for the deities to be continued in their journey to Jaipur, one of those deities wouldn't move. Vrinda wouldn't move because Vrinda doesn't leave Vrindavan. Now the Vrinda deity that was being moved is not such a big deity. Here's the Vrinda deity. And they tried, and many strong persons tried to lift, and Vrinda refused to go. They just accepted. She's not going to leave Vrindavan. So there she is, being worshipped at Kamyavan. And here's a close-up, little bit closer picture. And here's even a closer picture. And here's even a closer picture. And at this place, Kamyavan, there, aside from the deity of Vrinda Devi, there's an altar, Lalita, Govinda, and Radharani. This is a photograph of those deities taken during Kartik season this year. So Kamyavan is not far from our ISKCON Vrinda Kund, and our ISKCON Vrinda Kund is, well, here's the Vrajamandal map again. You see where Kamyavan is, that little black spot, and this is just above it and to the west of Nandagram, a little, west. Now, how this deity of Vrinda Devi came into the hands of Dinabandhu and ISKCON had something to do with Madhavadas Baba. There's a long history about Madhavadas Baba, but we don't have time for his long history. Exalted Vaishnav did a lot to protect the forests of Vrindavan and the deities of Vrindavan that remained there. And he, through his research and his spiritual acumen, came to understand where Vrinda Kund and Gupta Kunda are. And he had developed a relationship, or Dinabandhu developed a relationship with him, and he entrusted the deity, because he was a Babaji, he didn't have someone to do the worship. Dinabandhu accepted that responsibility and committed to build a nice temple for Vrinda Devi. There's the nice temple in front of Vrinda Kund. And in our ISKCON prayers all around the world, we pray to Vrinda Devi, and in her form of Tulsi Devi, to make us a follower of the cowherd damsels of Vraja. So in case you didn't notice, we say it every day when we do our prayers to Tulsi Devi, where it's a prayer to become a follower of the cowherd damsels of Vraja. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maidservant, as Vrinda Devi is the maidservant of Krishna in a Līlā Shakti position. We're praying to her expansion, Tulsi Devi, to make us also maidservants in that same mood or service. There's a very nice verse similar by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. O Vrinda Devi, O protect us of the moving and non-moving living entities in Vrindavan. You are wealthy in the mercy of the divine couple who enjoy pastimes in Vraja. Please be merciful to me. Please place me among Shri Radha's associates. So we pray to Vrinda Devi, we pray to Tulsi Devi for that position of being a maidservant of Radharani. Final. There's so many things, but so how can you do the final? But the final is this one. Without the mercy of Vrinda Devi, it's not possible to enter the confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna. The acharyas write, not even as listeners in an audience. So you're all blessed by the mercy of Radharani and the mercy of Vrinda Devi just to hear all these wonderful pastimes. And of course, our great acharyas are revealing all these things, because otherwise what would we know? Darkness of ignorance, that's what we would know. I have some more slides, but I've run out of time, so I think I'm just going to end. Oh, we have to sing the song. Would you like to sing the song? Here we go. You ready? Do you have the microphone? I'm going way over my time. Shame on me. What time is this class supposed to end? How many? 12:30. Oh, no kidding. Okay, so let's... You'd rather look at your phone than the screen, huh? Okay.
We'll be singing the whole verse and then follow. Gange champeya tadit vininde rochi pravaha snapitatma vrinde banduka bandu Dyuti divyavaso Vrinde namaste Charanarvindam Gangeya champeya Tadid vinindi Pravaha Sapitatma vrinde Bandhu ka bandhu Vrinde namaste charanarvindam Vrinde namaste charanarvindam charanarvindam Bimbadaroditvaramandahasya Nashagrabhukta dyutidipitasye Vichitra ratna bharana shriyadye Vande namaste charanarvindam Bimbadaroditvaramandahasya Nashagrabhukta नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् समस्तवैकुण्ठशिरोमणौ श्री कृष्णस्य वृन्दावन धन्यधाम्नि दत्ताधिकारे वृषभानुपुत्र्या वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् वैकुण्ठशिरोमणौ श्री कृष्णस्य वृन्दावन धन्यधाम्नि दत्ताधिकारे वृषभानुपुत्र्या वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् त्वदाज्ञया पल्लवपुष्पभृङ्गा मृगादिभिर्माधव केलिकुञ्जा मध्यादिभिर्भान्ति विभूष्यमाना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् त्वदाज्ञया पल्लव पुष्पभृङ्गा मृगादिभिर्माधव केलिकुञ्जा मध्यादिभिर्भान्ति विभूष्यमाना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् त्वदीयदूत्येन निकुञ्जयूनोर् अत्युत्कयो केलिविलाससिद्धि त्वत्सौभागां केन निरुच्यतां तत् वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् त्वदीयदूत्येन निकुञ्जयूनोर् अत्युत्कयो केलिविलाससिद्धि त्वत्सौभागां केन निरुच्यतां तत् वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् रासाविलासो वसतिश्च वृन्दावने त्वदीशाङ्घ्रि सरोजसेवा लाभ्या च पुंसां कृपया तवैव वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् विलासो वसतिश्च वृन्दावने त्वदीशाङ्घ्रि सरोजसेवा लाभ्या च पुंसां कृपया तवैव वृन्दे त्वं कीर्त्यसे सात्वत तन्त्रविद्भिर्लीलाभिदाना किल कृष्णशक्ति तवैव मूर्तिं तुलसीनृलोके वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षय क्षिप्तश्च कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् चरणारविन्दम् नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् वृन्दाष्टकं यः शृणुयात् पयेद्वा वृन्दावनमीशपादाब्जभृङ्गा सा प्राप्य वृन्दावन नित्यवासं तत्प्रेम सेवां लभते कृतार्था नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् वृन्दे 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 नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्
Vrinda Devi ki. See if there's some discussion. I thought I was running out of time, but we do have some time. There's some questions from yesterday. It was quiet yesterday too. You wanna? Let's see.
From Satyavrata Prabhu, what is the best way to spend our time in Vrindavan Dham? Should we go to different pastimes every day in turn?
He lives in Vrindavan. He should tell us the answer to this question. Since he's fulfilling this instruction of Rupa Goswami, he lives in Vrindavan. So he's well along the way. So how to best spend his time since he's living in Vrindavan, to live in Vrindavan. Well, there's whatever best nourishes one's deepening of devotion in service to Krishna, that's the best thing. Since he lives very close to Krishna Balaram Mandir, seeing the deities for sure, health permitting, on a daily basis. Seeing the deities means offering obeisances, offering heartfelt prayers, and so forth. Our primary nourishing source for bhakti, regardless of where one lives, including in Vrindavan, is hearing. I'm sure that just by living in Vrindavan and hearing the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, something very special happens to the heart. Something is happening to us even looking out the window at a construction site. Manifesting a facility for furthering the glories of Radha, Madan Mohan, and Srila Prabhupada. But something that I know that Satyavrata is doing is, in addition to those things and visiting holy places, not that one has to go to a different holy place daily, but there may be go to one holy place a lot and pray a lot and enter into the mood of that place and the message of that place and let the message go inside. So different things are going to work well for any different devotee, and do those things, but with some diversity, because the goal is not just that we become the enjoyer of some happiness experiencing life in Vrindavan, but Krishna will be the enjoyer, and allow Krishna to stimulate your love for him in so many different ways, prescribed ways. It's something that I know that he's doing as he's conducting classes for different devotees in places that they're not living in Vrindavan, but I'm sure he's giving our Krishna Consciousness 101 to everybody, but at the same time, his feelings of love for Krishna in Vrindavan. So do some of that. That's certainly pleasing to Krishna. So do those things that you know that are pleasing to Krishna and stimulate that which you know is pleasing to Krishna, and you feel that, so do that, as he's been doing. Something else?
As there is no concept of time in spiritual world, so how is Lord Balaram older to Krishna? In what measure?
Well, the premise is that there's no concept of time. It isn't. I would edit that and say, the influence of time as we know it is absent, but there's certainly a concept of time. I mean, the eightfold pastimes of Krishna, for example, or sunrise and sunset, for example, indicates passage of time. But it's not the passage of time like we know it. Or the passage of time as we know it is something that's just a reflection of the passage, the apparent passage of time in the spiritual world. Time is eternal, yes. So when the concept that time is eternal, Balaram is the elder brother because he was born before Krishna. Although in the transcendental Līlā, they're eternal, and eternal doesn't mean one's before the other, but it's a pastime. And so in terms of pastime, there's a sense. So Krishna looks up to him, and sometimes Balaram instructs Krishna. And then Krishna does what he wants anyways. Clever. Anything else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is from yesterday's class again. In praying to Lord Balaram, yesterday you kind of mentioned when we pray to Krishna to attract our mind to him. And
that's me, not you. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
I like that prayer. So.
Okay.
And then praying to Balaram for spiritual strength. I want to know how would the spiritual strength, Balaram's mercy, may manifest to us, and then how that can be perceived.
And how what?
How can I perceive it like this? I'm receiving that spiritual strength.
How can you feel it? Well, say it in contrast. When you feel that you're weak, you're spiritually weak, you know what that feeling is. So when they're not feeling that so intensely, that's some spiritual strength. Now, supposing that day comes that you become a very advanced devotee. Close your eyes, imagine one day you become a very advanced devotee. And very advanced devotees are going to feel humble, or humility is in extreme dimensions of humility. So they're not feeling, they're feeling the need for strength, the need for mercy. So it's how can you depends on your relationship with Krishna and what's best for you at a given time for feeling strength. But the calling out is the starting point of feeling strength. As soon as you start calling out for Balaram's mercy or mercy, then there's a sense that there's someone hearing that message. Someone's hearing that message. And that's a sense of strength, that you're not alone. And then, subjectively, with time, place, circumstance, person to person, it's going to be felt differently.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Is there any significance around chanting near Tulsi Devi? That's a common practice, devotees chant near Tulsi Devi.
Is there significance? Is your question?
Yes,
Why not? Well, I mean, something that we do every day, given to us by our founder Acharya, and you're asking, is there significance to it? Is that what your question is? Have I missed something?
No.
We're calling this just like part of what we heard. Without the mercy of Vrinda Devi, one cannot get entrance into even hearing about, what to speak of entering into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. We are being trained to call out for that mercy from Vrinda Devi or Tulsi Devi, so that we can get access to what the essence of Lord Chaitanya's gift is. So she's very merciful, even if someone doesn't understand. Many times Prabhupada would say like that, understand or not understand. If someone just circumambulates, and they don't understand, they just see everybody, so they go around, and it's benefit. What to speak of, as mercy starts to come and one starts to understand, just like the attempt this morning was to give some understanding of who is Vrinda Devi anyways, and the relationships and etc. So if one understands, even more so. But even if one doesn't understand, it's great benefit. Let me ask you. Put me on the spot, I'll put you on the spot. When you recite this prayer on a regular basis, however often you recite this prayer, how much conscious are you of what that prayer to Tulsi Devi or Vrinda Devi is requesting? My guess is, for the large part, we're just reciting the prayer because it's one of those prayers to recite, and there's not so much entering, as Prabhupada said about Brahma Samhita, enter into the spirit of this hymn. So there's a behavior, and then there's the conscious cultivation, or the spirit of the submission unto the message that we're hearing, and we're from the get-go. Prabhupada has given us the method, but he's also given us the encouragement to understand the meaning, and more than the meaning, enter into the spirit. So more going from today forward, some of the persons in this room, in addition to reciting the prayer, will meditate a little bit more deeply on what they're saying, or what the prayer meaning is, and then even more what the mood of the prayer is that we're saying. And then further, because as we go on, we're going to hear Vrinda Devi's name mentioned again a few times. And so she has a role to play in bringing us to becoming associated with the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. She's a very important personality in our devotional lives, whether we recognize it or not, or know it or not, or understand it or not, so that the awareness becomes stronger, and the entering into the spirit of what we're doing as we're doing our devotional activities. Like Tulsi beads and Tulsi neck beads. Why? Is there, this and that. But so then meditate on the meaning, and meditate and enter into the mood of. That's where our bhakti will grow best. Up here.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. As devotees, we use Vrinda Devi, we use Tulsi Maharani in various services towards the Lord, and for our own purification as well. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna says, if one offers me a leaf, a fruit, or even water with love, I will accept. And as devotees, whenever we offer something to Krishna, we always put a leaf, tulsi leaf.
Yes.
Does that tulsi leaf signify the devotional love towards the Lord?
Yes.
Or
yes, it signifies, and not only signifies, it's not only a signal or a symbol, it's an expression. her love is part of what Krishna wants. And our offering Tulsi leaf is part of what Krishna wants from our love. So yeah, that's not only a symbol, it's an expression.
Is there a pastime where Krishna tells or gives this benediction to Tulsi Maharani?
Is there a pastime with what?
Where Krishna gives this benediction about Tulsi Maharani, that if we use Tulsi leaf,
One who offers food items along with the Tulsi leaf, Krishna gives some special benediction. That's your question? Is that your question? No.
No.
What's your question?
My question is that is there any pastime where Krishna tells Tulsi Maharani that if someone offers me your leaf, or if someone uses your part in my service, I will accept it? Is there?
I'll defer to Amarendra. My thought is going to the Govardhan Līlā, where Lord Hari manifests and ate everything and says, I want more. And they brought more. And he ate everything and says, I want more. And they didn't have anything more. But Balaram knew. He just gave him a Tulsi leaf and he was satisfied.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Is there a pastime that you're familiar with that she's asking about?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Not a specific pastime that I remember, but there's a reference that I remember that Srila Rupa Goswami Pad writes about. He calls Vrinda Devi as a ghatana ghatana pratiyasi shakti, which means that Shakti who can make impossible into possible. Like the meeting of Radha and Krishna is almost impossible on both sides, with Krishna's friends on this side and Jatila, Kotila and Chandravali on the other. But still she makes the impossible possible. So similarly for Krishna, to accept a conditioned soul is impossible. But as soon as someone gets a tulsi neck bead by the spiritual master, then he, like bhoga, gets offered as prasad. And it's impossible for us to meet Krishna, but then Vrinda Devi makes that impossible into a possibility. And same with ingredients in this world. Why would Krishna leave Mother Yashoda's cooking and Radharani's cooking and accept our cooking? That's an impossibility. But because she makes impossible into possible, a tulsi leaf, now Madan Mohan will dip into your home and then take what you're cooking. So
Very nice answer. One more question in the back? Yes. You get the last question. Isn't that an honor?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay, sure.
I'm actually having a problem where Tulsi is not surviving in my home, no matter how much effort I put in. It either gets infection, or I don't get proper sunlight because of 4 to 5 months we don't have proper sunlight, and we can't keep Tulsi outside in outside weather. So I put the light that I put that I got from Amazon, but still it's not surviving. The insects keep crawling, and I keep spraying. I started spraying for the past 1 month. Is there any offenses that could possibly be causing that, Guru Maharaj?
Well, anything's possible. But, I think a better question is there a resource I can go to so I can learn how to overcome that obstacle?
Yes. That's what I was about to conclude with.
There are many, that's 3 manys, people that are very gifted at taking care of Tulsi. And one of them, a dear friend, is the temple president in the Hartford temple, Pyari Mohan, like from way, way, way back. He's just gifted. So I can give you his contact information, and I don't think he'll feel bothered. Oh, why is he bothering me about taking care of Tulsi? He'll be honored that I'm referring you to him. And he may say, 6 different things. I don't know. I passed all my gift of caring for Tulsi on to the following devotees. You can check with them. I don't know what he's going to say. But is there somebody in this community that's like a super Tulsi Pujari, Tulsi worshipper? And there's just a local representative that can teach that? Huh? Giri Govardhan. Do you know who is Giri Govardhan?
I'll meet.
Let him know. You'll let him know. And if that something doesn't work with Giri Govardhan, contact Shankadari. I'll give to Shankadari Pyari Mohan's contact information. You can reach out to him and just say Hari Bol.
Thank you, Maharaj.
I heard you're gifted at caring for Tulsi, and please give your blessings that this method is going to work. Okay?
Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki.